everybody.
Hello, everyone. Всем привет.
Welcome to our public talk, 13 Benefits of Meditation.
Yeah, we're very excited to present this to you. And I know some of you may be new, so to introduce ourselves, this is my wife, Inna. She's an MD, medical doctor, pediatrician.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she got her MD, she went on and got an additional PhD, specifically focusing on psychosomatic medicine.
In children.
In children. She was very interested in how the mind affects the body.
Yeah, because it was kind of clear to me that it's not just physical, there is some other influences, and I was researching it. Mm-hmm. And my husband, Bill, he's a professional pilot. He is an ex-Air Force pilot instructor. He was working and he is still working in commercial airlines, and he's flying like over 30 years already.
Yeah, over 30.
So he also has a very successful pilot career, and he's a great meditator. I mean, we both have meditation experience, but he accomplished something that is really cool. That is called the Great Retreat. 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days in silence in a desert area, and he really knows about meditation. I also have some experience.
Quite a bit, but very regular, very consistent meditator.
Yeah, and today we will share with you the benefits. We both are taught by a person who once he told me that he did over 51 months long retreats. So definitely we have something to share with you, and you can write in the chat. By the way, we should speak slowly.
Yeah, I should probably apologize to the translators ahead of time. Please don't quit on us. I tend to speak too fast.
And you can write in the chat any questions you have, any questions, like even they are not related really to meditation. We will try to answer all your questions at the end of the class. And we will do about 45 minutes together. Then we will give you 5 minutes break. And then we will do 45 more minutes because we want to leave the most extraordinary things at the end. So let's start.
Yes, we're going to discuss 13 specific benefits of meditation. But before we get started on those, I just in general like to talk about what meditation is and why we're here talking about it. I really honestly think that we're on the edge of a revolution, at least in the Western world, of understanding what meditation is, what you can do with it, and its potential. It specifically, we're talking about the ability to focus your mind and clearly see the problems, the opportunities, and to have more control over your mind. It's really, there's very specific exercises you can go through to sharpen this ability. And it's very similar to this training of the mind that you can do through meditation. It's very similar to the kind of training that an athlete would go through, or a musician. You know, when I was a kid, I was a swimmer. I swam in Texas. Swimming was a very popular sport. And
he's a very good swimmer. He swims marathons every year, 5 kilometers in open waters.
Yeah, there's a race in Chicago we do in September. It helps keep me fit and keep me motivated. But when I was a kid, we worked out quite a bit, and we were training. And at the time, we were swimming like 15,000 yards a day. You'd swim 7,000 meters roughly in the morning, 8,000 meters in the afternoon. And it was called the era of over distance because all we did was we would go in and just swim until people dropped. It would take about 4 hours of swimming a day. And now swimmers are much faster than they were 30, 40 years ago, and they're swimming less. Some of the world champion swimmers now are only swimming like 2,000, 3,000 yards a day. And it's almost heartbreaking, frankly, for somebody who, as a kid, spent that much time in the pool and it wasn't really effective. And the reason why swimmers now are so much faster is that they're lifting weights. They found that it was far more effective to spend some concentrated time building the muscles. And then when they get in the pool, they're dramatically faster. And so they're doing more with less time because they're approaching it more intelligently. The exact same thing happens with meditation. You can sit down for some period of time a day, develop the ability to focus. And then whatever it is that you're doing, you can be dramatically more effective at it. Whether it's, personal relationships or business or a whole list of other things that we're going to go through. But that kind of training of your mind is, it's why I say we're on the edge of a revolution. It's going to be the difference between athletes who knew how to work out and athletes who didn't. And so people are in all walks of life are going to start training their mind before they try and become businessmen or leaders or a whole range of other things.
I'm thinking now, it's actually a great example. I'm thinking that there are many people who teach now meditation nowadays, right? But it is actually very important for you guys to find somebody who knows what they're talking about, because I think our mind is the most valuable, the most precious thing we have, because everything else is being started in our mind, right? And of course, it is dangerous when your mind is wandering around somewhere. You even
Ваша свідомість думає про щось незрозуміло, що ви не знаєте, про що ви не можете подумати. Я не знаю. Коли Вселенна була створювалась, і небезпечно, коли ви і особливо медитація може бути небезпечною, коли хтось втручається в вашу свідомість. Медитацію багато поколінь практикували, і вони досягали результатів, яких вони хотіли. І це є дуже багато типів медитації, які ви можете робити. Різні підходи, різні школи думок, неправильний шлях, яким ви можете спускатися. І вам дійсно потрібен хтось, хто успішно впродовж багатих поколінь, лінії передачі поколінь. Я думаю, ми маємо дати визначення, тому що люди, вони мають дивні ідеї з приводу того, що таке медитація, що вони думають. І індійський стиль йоги з дивними якимось відзнаками на їхньому обличчі, що медитація – це концентрація. Насправді це не якась духовна вправа, ви
It is just an exercise, as Bill told you. You can train your meditation muscle, and then you can get all the benefits that we will be talking about right now.
Mhm.
Um,
It's specifically, and we're not going to go into it too really at all today. There's a course later on we'll be teaching where we'll go into it in quite some depth. But there's actually 9 different levels of focus that you can go through. Each one, your mind's ability to like focus single-pointedly on an issue and direct it without wandering, and to have clarity and intensity of your thoughts as you're focusing on that problem. And that ability to focus makes your mind much more effective. And when your mind is more effective, your time is being used more dramatically more effectively.
mhm.
It
Yeah, and your mind is more powerful than you can realize. And this is when you start realizing it, when you start your maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, but regular meditation. Okay, let's go to the benefits.
Yeah, and one last thing I would like to say is that like one of the standard things you hear is, "Oh, I can't do yoga. I'm not flexible." Well, okay. So the whole point of you don't have to be flexible to do yoga. You'll gain flexibility when you do yoga.
Mhm.
Meditation is exactly the same thing. Everybody's mind, on an ultimate level, is exactly the same. Literally exactly the same.
Mhm.
We all have the same potential to develop this capacity. And so anybody can do this. You just need to train it.
Mhm. Okay,
So
let's
benefits?
trade you the meditation, because honestly, if you will listen to all of them, I don't know, you should be insane not to decide that you need to meditate. Okay, let's start with the first one.
Yeah, one last thing. I'm convinced that business people, professors, artists, pretty much anybody who has to use their mind, which is pretty much everybody, is going to eventually figure out that if they want to be effective, they're going to meditate.
Yeah, actually, I had even the list somewhere of people, because I was teaching a while ago this meditation, and I had the list of people who meditate. I remember that Madonna is on the list, and Lionel Messi, the football player. Steve Jobs meditated. Who else? I think Keanu Reeves and some other very famous Hollywood actors and actresses. So, and in very fancy companies like big corporations, nowadays they start meditation rooms, and they make their employees go and meditate during their working hours, because they discovered that they are much more productive and much more creative if they can meditate. Okay, let's go. The first benefit. The first benefit is about focus. I love going to Arizona, and in these desert areas, you can see these big birds, like eagles or something, right? Condors, I don't know who's there.
There's a number of them. Vultures, condors.
Vultures, yeah. So, and they have some special capacity. Their eye has this special ability. They can see with some kind of strong focus, and at the same time they can see the landscape, and they can really strongly focus on something really small. So it's like almost a laser, right? And then they a mice or something, right? What they are wild animals, so birds, so obviously they are hunting. So your attention gets this quality of being capable of 100% become focused on one thing. and then you become really effective
Effective.
in resolving it. So, for example, you can use this focus in solving your business issues, because in the situation when everybody will be like running around and panicking, like you will keep this capacity of keeping this strong focus and to see the best solution of the situation. Isn't it cool? I know you had the story about the strong focus and ability.
Yeah, I can give you a specific example. So I did a 3-year retreat, 3 years, 3 months, and 3 days. Built a cabin in the mountains of southeast Arizona, and was completely isolated from the world for that period of time, in order to let my mind still down so that I could develop the ability to focus to a higher degree and use that for very specific purposes. During that retreat, there were periods when it would be more intense, like very, very formal. The practice took about 12 hours a day, where I was doing, a very formal set of exercises throughout the day. And then inside the retreat, then there would be a break after that. So it would be like 2 months on, 1 month off. And so I remember this was about 2 years into the retreat, and the break came. And so like the break is still going to look like a deep retreat to most people, because you've really quieted down and you're really settled. It had happened without me hardly even noticing it, but there was this kind of community house, and there were books there, and I'd been just looking at prayer books for 2 months and meditating and doing yoga. So I would let myself read a book in the break, and so I walked in, and there really wasn't much on the walls, but there was this one book. It was a doctor's reference book, specifically for dermatologists, for skin doctors. And in the book, they had every disease known to medicine for the skin, every disease that a dermatologist would ever encounter in their career. And so I pulled it off and started looking at it, read the intro, and just kept going. And it was about 400 pages long. And so I sat down at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I would guess. And somewhere about 2 or 3 in the morning, 12 hours later, I was 300 pages through it and almost finished. And it had been fascinating. Just every page had been just really interesting. And I only stopped. I wasn't tired, but I stopped because I realized if I kept going till dawn, then I would probably be messed up for days with my sleep, and I didn't want to lose the time. But my ability to focus had gotten, frankly, that sharp in retreat. And I realized, well, that's how, you see high-level professors or business people, they're accomplishing something. It's because they can focus like that, right? And that I remember thinking that I never picked up the book again. It was just pure entertainment. But I remember thinking that, if I had needed to, if I was in medical school, I could have memorized the whole book in a week. And boy, would I have been a dramatically more effective student if I'd had that ability when I was in school. And so that's just one example of,
like you could study languages within a matter of months or 2, right?
Yeah. You're the ability to and again, this isn't an ability I had before going into retreat. I did like to read, but it took a huge leap up because, again, like an athlete, I had trained before going to the event, right? It wasn't like I just competed. Like you train before you compete. And so because I trained before competing, I was dramatically more effective. Like I could have, anyway, it was fun. It was exciting to be able to do.
Mhm. I'm thinking like what it did to me, like this ability to focus. I was working for big corporations. I was a medical director, and I was responsible for developing some drugs, right, for the medical and scientific side of it. And boy, it makes all difference in the world when you have this ability to just, like boom, and then you do your job, you are completely focused, and boom, you are done, right? It takes less time, less efforts, it is pleasant. Another thing that I think I probably can say that I became a simultaneous translator, right? And I try to speak slowly. Dear translators, we love you.
Uh-oh.
So I became a simultaneous translator and also consequent translation and simultaneous translation. And you really can translate, you can translate really well if you meditate. I don't think I would be able to be honest. Both simultaneous, it is related to the fourth benefit that we will talk about of the meditation. But consequent translation, you have to memorize, right, what was spoken, and then you have to translate afterwards. Boy, you really need this ability if you want to translate.
And it's not just business problems either. When you have the ability to focus like that, your creativity takes a huge leap up. I taught myself in retreat to play guitar, right? I'd never been musical before. And all I had was sheet music. And I could sit down and pluck out note by note. And because I had the ability to focus, and then ideas come to you too when you're quiet, like all kinds of ideas that you wouldn't have access to when your mind is all jumbled up with garbage.
I actually forgot that I started to paint also when I started meditating. Interesting. So the second benefit is you will be able to solve problems, business problems and personal problems, if you meditate. How you do so? You will learn how to do analytical meditation. And analytical meditation is, I personally think, is the most powerful tool for business problem solving, because you learn how to look at this problem from different sides, and then there is a specific way to solve these problems that is called a worldview, when you remember like how actually the reality works, and then it becomes really a powerful tool.
And what will happen as your ability to focus gets better, when you're encountering a problem, you're not busy being distracted by a whole bunch of different thoughts. You're not thinking about lunch or getting the oil changed in your car or the bills that need to be paid or whatever other issues, that are going on in your world at the time. You're able to focus specifically on that one problem, and your mind can work with it dramatically better. It's like if you're like 30% efficient, you can go up to 90 or 100% efficiency. And so then when you have a problem, you're able to analyze it much quicker and solve it much easier. An example that was fun, quite fun for me, when I got out of retreat, one of my good friends was describing to me a business problem. And I've known him for quite a while. And he was describing in some detail a marketing problem that he was having, where he had a very specific group of people he needed to market his product to, but he only had general information about them. And so he was going to end up having to advertise for, like, let's say, 1 million people. And he really only needed to reach 100. He did have some specific information, and I won't go into the details of it because 10 years later, he's still using this in his business, and I don't want to, like, tread on his territory. But he described the knowledge that he did have about who these 100 people were that he needed to market to. And I said, well, I think you have enough information there that you can probably, like, if you can do the math, you can probably figure out who those 100 people are. It would take some sophisticated math. And in his entire industry, everybody had the same problem. Nobody was working the numbers backwards like that. And so my friend took that idea, pursued it, and frankly changed the industry. And 10 years later, he's still running his own now private consulting business, teaching people how to do. And again, he developed the idea. I just had the initial idea. He did the hard work of being in the industry and knowing the people and developing the idea. But
And he contacted you recently, right? To thank you for the help that you provided.
yeah, he to tell me how his business is going. But something like that came out of the ability to meditate, the ability to look at a business problem and analyze it. And it wasn't even in my industry, right? But it was things like that get clear.
Yeah, and I mean, you will have insights into subjects that you were not even taught. You actually don't know, but because of the focus of your mind, you will be able to solve things that nobody could think that you can solve.
Yeah, there's another famous example. There was a monk who could meditate, and he had been a Tibetan, had not ridden around in cars, and they were driving through India, and the car broke, and they get out. The driver opens up the hood, and this man had never seen
The engine.
an engine before. He starts asking the driver, okay, well, what is this? What does that do? What does that do? What does that do? And he goes, oh, this is your problem. And so because he had the ability to meditate, he had the ability to solve that mechanical problem easily, which is, again, one of the benefits. And a big part of the reason why I say this is for everybody. It's not just a spiritual exercise, which we'll talk about in the second half of this class. But again, this is for anybody.
Okay, so first, you will be able to focus. Second, you will be able to solve your personal and business problems. What is the third one? Harmony in your relationship, right?
Yeah.
Relationships, because you have your personal relationship, right? But you also have lots of relationships in your life. And I remember when I started regularly meditating, and I had this very weird effect, like, when somebody pushes your buttons, and we have this tendency to react faster than we can think of what we say or what we do. And I was like, oh, something changed, because I was really careful with my mind and with my thinking process. I was also in a psychotherapy training, so I was really attentive to these processes. And I noticed that something changed, because this my usual pattern, like stimulus, reaction, it changed because then something would happen. Oh, and here I would have to you react with anger, you know, or like with, I don't know what, disgust, criticism, all kinds
whole
of
range of ineffective options.
whole range of options, how you actually can really destroy all your relationships.
Mhm.
And then I was like, oh, wow, actually, I don't have to react right away because, oh, something happened. And then I started to notice that I start to have more room between what happened and my reaction. And the room was getting bigger and bigger. And I was like, wow, that's a big empty room. I can sit here. I can think whether I should react, I shouldn't react. Do I want to destroy this relationship, or maybe I want to keep it? And also, not only that, you know, like I have a kid, and he was very how you call it?
Energetic.
Energetic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
He's
and
got a big heart.
he would do something crazy, and I was like, boom, natural anger comes. But I have my room. Okay, should I react? No, it's stupid. I mean, anger produces only anger, right? Then maybe I shouldn't react. And then sometimes I wouldn't, and sometimes I would think, oh, actually, I should react. But now I will not be reacting out of anger. You know, now I will be reacting because I need to, you know, to do boom, you know, like mom stuff, like because it's education, you know, learning process for him. And then it would be totally different because I would not be angry when I would be reacting like with power, but not really anger. So you will not destroy your relationship. It will help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's, you know, most of us are subject to what we call mental affliction attacks, right? Like you'll get a little bit of anger and then it just blows up. And then you've lost control and you're just like, you know, you're just in a full-blown tantrum. And then obviously that can be very destructive, right? And it doesn't have to be like an 8-year-old kid's tantrum. It can be just a round of anger.
Oh, another version of it, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't have big explosion, but you are being unhappy and you chew on it in your mind, you know, for many days. The guy already left, you know, the lady who made you angry, but you are still angry in your mind, thinking, oh, I had to do this, I had to say that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, something unpleasant happens and 3 days later, you're still fighting the battle in your head, right? And it's human, right? Well, we've all had it, right? I can describe it to you because I'm familiar with it. And the thing is that when you can meditate, you catch yourself doing it. You know, and you stop it. So you stop hurting yourself and you stop hurting other people too. So
the first one.
My
favorite one. And you know, by the way, all these like first 5 benefits, you will get them quickly. Once you start meditating regularly, maybe some of them you will get a feeling that you are getting it like within maybe 1 month, 2 months. The other 8, they are crazy good. Some of them are really difficult to believe that you can reach it. And the only reason why we think we can reach it, because we know that some people, they reached it, they did it, right?
Yeah, we can talk, we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, but
in the second half of the class.
Right.
This is the part for everybody.
Yeah. So please come to the second secret part of the class.
Not so secret.
Очень secret. So what I was going to say that these 5 first benefits, they are quite frequent and like quite easy to get, right? But you will not maybe have them equally. Like people, they tend to have like somebody is better, getting quickly better in focus. Somebody is getting quickly better in managing the relationships. Like that was my thing. I was like, oh, within like 1 month, I started to feel, oh, I don't have to answer with anger, you know, anymore. I really can stop it quite quickly. Some people, they will be better in this analytical stuff, you know, problem solving. There is a group of people, and honestly, I kind of also have this one, who start quickly to have a better feeling of their future,
Mhm.
you know. And this is the first benefit. You will have the sense of your future. It will not be, you will not see it directly, right? But it will be something like you have this sixth feeling, you know, like sixth sense. You know that it is better not to go there. It is better to go here, or better, like for business people, I think that's a unique one. You really want to get this one.
Well,
Where to invest, you know, what partners to have in business.
well, and the big example, when you're saying this, I see her do it quite frequently. I mean, she'll know how things are going to go a couple months in advance, but like the major life event, you knew when the conflict started happening in Ukraine in 2014 that they were going to continue and that you needed to leave. And so she got out of the country and her son out of the country then, so, but you knew that the conflict wasn't going to be contained or stopped. You could tell.
Yeah, and I do not really like to talk about my personal stuff,
Yeah.
but it's true. I kind of had the feeling, and it was exactly when I started to meditate regularly. Okay, so you will get a feeling of your future.
There's another example I can think of. I have a friend who was meditating quite a bit, and about 10 years ago, he was very excited. He told me about this thing called Bitcoin, and I was like,
Who knows about Bitcoin?
You know, it's like it's you know, at the time, you could buy just a little chip thing and plug it into the wall and get a Bitcoin like one a week or something like that. And I'm like, it's only worth $50. I'm not interested.
Unfortunately, you don't get all 5 equally, right?
Yeah, well, that's why I didn't see the future on that one, right?
Yeah. Bill is big on problem solving, seeing patterns, focusing,
and so
stuff like that.
But he saw it, and he knew before it had really become popular. He knew that Bitcoin was going to, and what did it get up to? Like 50,000 at one point. I don't follow it, but but it came because he knew, because he'd been meditating, and it was clear to him early on.
The last one, the fifth one, it is about peaceful mind. And that was a big one for me, because I remember when I started meditating, I probably was successful in, you know, we usually tend to say that there are 5 big subjects in our life, like health, relationship, money, peaceful mind, no stress, right? And if we are happy with these ones, usually we want to help others. But I would say I was pretty good in first 3. Boy, what I was really missing was peaceful mind. Because I was working for big corporations, you know, like always stressed out, always there was this sense that you are not good enough, you know, you need to strive more, you need to do more, you have no time, under pressure always. You know, I mean, I grew in my career till medical director, was not much else to grow. But what I realized that I mean, I met people who were big business leaders, big pharmaceutical industry leaders, and most of them, they were very stressed out and very unhappy. They would be making like $500,000 a year, even more. And they would work day and night. And I mean, they would be really good professionals, and they kind of enjoyed what they were doing also, but they were stressed out, and quite frequently I would see very successful people leaving, just quitting their job just in the middle of I don't know, in the middle of the project, you know, like, I'm done, I'm leaving, you know, I cannot do it anymore, because they would be in burnout, they would not sleep for many months. Many of them, they would use pharmaceutical medicines to fight their depression and insomnia. So was not happy, right? And there were some, like, few of CEOs and high executives that I knew that were happy. I was thinking, that's strange. What is the difference, right? I didn't meditate that time. I was just observing. But this is how meditation was sold to me, right? I realized that these people, they usually they meditate. Like in my company, there was a CEO who would meditate and would be constantly happy, just nonstop. And people would want to work for him, with him, do party with him, you know, everything, you know, go to yoga with him, like, was a great, great leader. And I realized that the guy was meditating for like 20 years or so. If you want to be successful, you probably want to be healthy successful, you know, you want to be financially successful and healthy, and not just financially successful, because you also can see people who have big cars, you know, like really nice sport cars, like fancy homes, and completely sick.
When I talk to people, usually a busy professional, and they'll say something like, well, I don't have time to meditate. And if they understood the potential, it's if they don't have time, they need to meditate, because they'll be that much more effective. They're just, you know, they don't have the time to not meditate. They can't be ineffective at work. So it's
okay. We are done. So first, you will get the ability to get focused, concentrate. Second, you will solve your business and relationship issues. Third, your relationships will become beautiful. And I mean, we tried to give you examples from our lives, but there are much more. I mean, my relationships in my family were not great. I had after that beautiful relationship with everybody, with all my ex-partners, right? Bill improved his relationship. He had issues with his dad, right? And
lots of them.
Yeah.
Lots of issues. There were, frankly, when you stop yourself from, when you catch yourself because you've meditated, when you become more aware of your mind and what you're doing with it, you start treating everybody in your life better. Oh my gosh, you know, like with my dad, with people at work, my marriage, you know.
Pilots are very competitive. Like, Bill has no problems with other pilots anymore, right?
Yeah, it was, you know, when I got started in commercial aviation, it was almost all at the major airlines. It was almost all military pilots, and very competitive. Quite a few of them were combat veterans.
The rest you can imagine.
Yeah, it was, most of them had come through a career where there'd been a lot of danger associated with flying. It's very safe now. Things have really advanced, but the people I was flying with had still been there, like at the tail end of the pioneering age of aviation, where they were still figuring out major issues that were safety related. And
brave men, no, like
well,
real men.
But it could be tense in the cockpit, right? And computers weren't making any decisions. It was always up to the two people. And when there was a conflict, when there was a disagreement, it could be quite intense. And I would fight with the guys. Oh man, sometimes it could be really unpleasant. And then at a certain point, after I'd started meditating, after I became more aware of what I was doing, I realized that there was a better way to handle it. I stopped fighting and it changed. Like, I remember there was very specifically one bad flight I had, and there'd been storms and the whole trip hadn't gone well. And, it was safe, but it was unpleasant. I said, I've got to change. And for the next 9 years, it was incredible. For the next 9 years, I didn't have a single conflict in the cockpit. Like, it changed that dramatically. So.
Okay. So the fourth was the sense of future. You will get a sense of future, and the fifth, you will get peace in your mind, no stress. They say also additionally, there are some kind of benefits, non-official, and we will tell about these benefits after a 5 minutes break. And also extraordinary, almost secret, I mean, half secret, other benefits, other 8 benefits. Some of them, it is very difficult to believe it is possible. Okay.
One last thing I'd like to talk about for the creative people that are there in the audience. One of the things that, we've been talking more about business related issues, but if you're artistic, that's also going to be greatly enhanced by the ability to meditate. When I learned to meditate, all of a sudden, like, it opened up the door to really appreciating like a 50-minute symphony. Like, every note became fascinating. Like, you could follow it, totally be immersed in it, really enjoy it, right? And I realized after that 200 years ago, when Beethoven and Mozart and Bach were writing these great symphonies, that they wrote them for 50 minutes long because the people had the ability to focus for that long, happily. They weren't being distracted by their telephones, television, radio. Their minds were settled and more able to focus, and they had the creativity to produce something like that. So if you're an artist, it will help you.
Okay, that was the first part. So after the break, some additional benefits that did not make to the list, and the 8 extraordinary benefits that we need 5 minutes break, because we will discuss whether we want to tell all of them to you or not.
Yeah, the spiritual benefits are interesting.
And we will talk about them after the break.
Right.
Okay. See you in 5 minutes. Okay.
Всем привет for the Russian speakers.
Let's start the second part. We decided to give you a break, just, because it's difficult for people nowadays to stay focused for 1 hour and a half straight. So we promised to cover the additional ones. They say, and I personally had this experience also, that when you meditate, your need in sleep decreases. Like you tend to sleep less because mind, when it is focused, it's in the ancient books, they call it one of ways to sustain
Yeah.
life, right?
Yeah,
So it's important.
focus is considered to be in the same category as food,
Mhm.
water, oxygen. And so when you're getting it, it's restoring your body.
I had once, I just remembered one flight to Europe, and usually I would come to the United States to study meditation, and then had always a horrible experience with flights because I have to sit straight, for like over 10 hours or so, and usually was very painful for me. And I remember once when I succeeded to get into quite good meditation despite noise. And after this flight, I was like fresh, like if nothing would happen. So maybe you also will have such an experience. Like I literally could tell that it replaced sleep for me that day. Did you sleep less in your 3-year retreat?
I slept really well. I mean, it was I've always needed more sleep than most people. I was getting about 8 to 9 hours, but I woke up like completely well refreshed, which for somebody who's been a pilot their whole adult life was that to be fair, that might have had more to do with the fact that I wasn't constantly jet lagged. But it was wonderful to be completely 100% fully rested for years.
Yeah. And for Bill, 8 hours is, I can tell you, very little.
Yeah, yeah.
Because usually he needs 10. Okay. So another benefit that did not make to the list is if you do correct meditation, if you focus on the right object, and we will tell you later on what it means, then you become smarter, like you become more and more intelligent, and you can tell, you understand meaning of ancient books that, I mean, I had this experience, I would be reading and it would not make any sense to me. And when I started meditating, and like in several years, I was shocked because I remembered I had this recollection that I was reading the same exact text and it did not make any sense. And then out of a sudden,
You can imagine, right? Somebody wanting to run a marathon who's never spent a day in their life training for a marathon. And so then, they would go, it would be basically all but impossible. But then, slowly, consistently, training a mile a day, 2 miles a day, they build it up over time and they get stronger and then can do it easily. Meditation is exactly the same thing, except with intellectual pursuits.
So the second part, right? Extraordinary things that you can reach with meditation. It is divided also, like the first one was like for business and personal life. The second part is like for your internal life, 3 more for your internal life, and then there will be 5 for your spiritual life. And some of them will be easy for us to cover because we know that you can have this experience and we also can have, but we didn't have any. So we will just tell you that this is what is said in the ancient books. And we are also, I mean, I am a masterpiece in work in progress.
Work in progress.
Work in progress. So the sixth benefit is that you will reach progress in your spiritual life. what does it mean really, my spiritual life? Do I have any, right? Here it is, I think it's a good place to talk about worldview courses that we teach and about the pen, right? Because in order to get something better than just ordinary stuff that you can buy with your money, or like you need to understand how this world works.
There is the whole point of a spiritual life is to end your suffering permanently, and
to become happy.
Yeah, and to become happy, right? Yeah, not so the negative part is to end the suffering. The positive part is to be happy, and then there's a reason why you can do that, and it's possible, and there's a very clear path that has been set out for how to do that, and it's all covered in these formal courses. This is where, can we say this part now?
We can say now,
Okay.
ACI.
The Asian Classic Institute, it takes Tibetan Buddhism, and it's broken down into 18 different courses. Translator pause. And it explains this worldview. It explains how it's possible.
And this worldview has nothing to do with Tibet, actually, and nothing to do with Buddhism. Just it happened to be the place where this knowledge were preserved. And I personally, I'm convinced that any religious path has at some point all this knowledge, but with the time they may be a little bit lost or misunderstood, or like not really practiced by practitioners. So corruptions corruptions can happen.
And meditation is an absolutely necessary, an absolutely critical component to
worldview.
To progressing down the spiritual path for reasons that we're going to talk about now.
Yeah. So meditation is not a spiritual practice as itself. It's just an exercise. It's like to say lifting weights is a spiritual exercise.
It's a tool. It's a big gun that you can aim at your problems. Extremely powerful.
A laser,
Yeah.
And then if you know what to focus on this laser, then you can solve this issue and be done with all your problems, not only day-to-day life problems. And this is what is called progress on your spiritual path. I mean, can you imagine a day when you do not have your usual problems? I mean, none of them. And if you meditate, then there will be such a day.
And what I've seen, over 24 years now of working with these courses and seeing thousands of people come through, each class has its material. There's a presentation, there's a reading, then you get a homework, and then the homework has meditation, short meditation, 15 minutes. And what I've seen over the years is that the people who do the homeworks, including the meditation, you retain the information. You're actually able to apply it to your life. It doesn't just move in and out of your mind. And then you're able to understand your world better and react with it more effectively. And so the meditation, and this is a fairly early stage of your ability to meditate. You don't have to be an advanced meditator to do this. You just sit down for 15 minutes a day and you just think about the problem, and just the process of sitting down someplace comfortable, closing your eyes and thinking about it. It's putting it into your mind in a more firm way than what it would be if you're just, like, say, passively listening to a class as you're riding to work, right? It's people don't really retain the information when they work with it like that.
Mhm.
So meditation helps dramatically. And then each step as you're going along, you're learning something new and you're applying it and you're advancing.
Yeah. And with meditation, I told you, you become smarter. Why it is happening? Because you focus your mind on something correct. And correct is actually the worldview, like how this reality actually works. And I don't know if you are like me. I was looking for these answers. I was not satisfied with what science gave me, because science is very honest about it. It says, like, I don't have all your answers. You know, you have to explore. You have to find your answers. And I was looking for these answers, and the worldview that is taught in ACI, Asian Classics Institute classes. I didn't find even one thing that is illogical there. So this is why we teach these classes, and you can join for free. Starting the 7th of June, we will do course 3, meditation, and you will learn all the requisites, like prerequisites, what do you need in order to start meditation, what to look for in meditation, what will be the obstacles, how you will fight these obstacles and conquer them. And so please join us to learn more about meditation. And I think we should talk what is the basis of this system, right?
And yeah, and in the meditation course, all the ACI courses are free, always free.
It's so priceless that there is no money to take for this.
Too good to charge for, right? It would be unfair to not make it free. We were given it free, and we were 100% committed to keeping it free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's go back to what? To the object, right? So why it is important to focus on something? I think I will tell you a funny story, an anecdote. I'm not sure it's actually a fake story, but here is the story. There was one monk who came to a cave. It's about incorrect objects and what
The
they
horns.
can do. Don't spoil my story. So there was one monk who was sent to meditate, and his teacher was teaching him how to meditate and what should be the object of meditation for many years. And then before going into his 3-year retreat, this young monk asked his teacher, what actually should I meditate on? And his teacher became really unhappy with him because it was obvious. He did 18 ACI courses, and then he asked it. I'm just kidding. So he asked about the object of this meditation, and his teacher, being unhappy with him, probably was teaching him a lesson, he said, meditate on your horns on your head. And the story says that that was the reason why this young monk could not leave his cave, because the horns on his head were too big.
Yeah, he'd meditated like horns, like an animal, right? And he'd meditated so
and
long.
probably antlers.
Yeah,
There is
antlers.
another.
And so he'd meditated
like
so much on the idea
deers.
that he had horns coming out of his head, antlers coming out of his head, that he couldn't get himself to walk out of the cave because his antlers were getting stuck on the exit.
Yeah. So, and maybe it's just a story. We don't know.
It's funny.
But every joke has some of a joke.
Yeah.
Some part of a joke. So the benefit number 6 was you will make your progress in your spiritual life. And now, what is the progress in your spiritual life? It is when you understand better and better how this reality works. And this goes back to the pen story. If you have heard already this story, please follow me to try to see how I'm teaching it and to see if you can really catch all 18 points of the pen that I will go through.
We have been told that you have to hear this 3,000 times before you really understand it. And
That was the point 18, by the way.
yeah. And so it's profound because it's a very different way of looking at the world than what we're used to, in a dramatically more effective way. So,
and this is this presentation has a fancy name. It is a presentation of emptiness using a physical object. And in ancient times, they would use a shell or something that was just, easier to get. And we're using pens because we have lots of them. We can use a phone, then it will be the phone story.
modern.
Yeah. So you can imagine anything, your husband, your bank account, instead of this pen, it will be all the same. So if I will ask you, what is this? Well, what is this?
It's obviously a pen.
Obviously, it's a pen. But what will happen if I will call a little puppy and the little puppy comes to the room, with the shaky, like waving
Wagging his tail.
his tail, and I will wave also, like what the puppy will do with this.
Puppy's gonna bite it.
So will this thing be for a puppy? Will a puppy see this as a pen?
I've got to admit, a puppy has absolutely no idea what writing with the pen is about. So he's going to see nothing but a chew toy.
Yeah, like a stick, something like
Yeah.
that, right? Something that is really comfortable to chew on. Then a big question, who is right? You or a puppy? A human or a dog?
They both are.
They both are, I agree. Because guess what? It functions for both of us. I can write, I'm a human. Oh. I have written something and the puppy can chew on it, no problem. But then a big question, imagine that I'm leaving this thing here. I can leave it even on the table, right here. And all the humans leave, all the puppies leave. The room is absolutely empty. Just the air conditioner. At this moment of time, what this thing become? A pen or a chewing toy?
It takes a bit to think about it, but you have to admit that it isn't either one at the moment.
Yeah.
If the room is empty.
Even people that are not familiar with the worldview classes and our seed system, ACI courses, they shrug their shoulders. That like, we don't know because there is nobody there, right? If you will be sincere, you will say, I don't know.
And seed system is something we can talk about more, but it's again, it's about how your mind is working. And so anyway, we keep going.
We left it here. Everybody left. We don't know what it is, right? It is empty. It is, in the sense, it is available to become something like a potential. Let's imagine that I forgot something. I go back and then my eyes, they detect this dark purple cylinder with something silver. And it becomes to me what?
For me, being a human, I'm going to see a pen.
ta-da, it's a pen. If a puppy comes back,
Back to being a chew toy.
so if I will ask you a question, can we say that this thing is coming from itself, or it is coming from me, from the puppy?
Yeah, you have to say that it's the person looking at it that's putting the idea of pen onto that shape.
Something happens, right? But
Yeah.
it is kind of from my side, from the puppy's side, right? Then it's an interesting question. If this thing comes from me, can I change it? Can I use my wish power to change it? And then it's a simple exercise. I close my eyes and I try to wish really hard. Big diamond, please, 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 big diamond. I will share the profit with everybody, over 100 people present on the call. I will share the profit with everybody who will hear the story. Big diamond, big diamond, big diamond. Didn't work out.
Want to try again?
It's a pen. And it looks like there's
I'll give you 3 tries.
I actually tried a lot already.
All right. Let's get the next.
Maybe
See, that's your ability as a meditator to see into the future. I can see into the future that that's not going to work if we do this 3 times.
somebody stop him from making jokes. Let me finish the pen story. This is why we have difficult time to record our videos, because we laugh so much. Okay, so going back to the pen story. So it looks like there is a contradiction, because logically it does not come from itself. It does come from me. But if I wish, it doesn't happen. But actually in the ancient text, they say there is no contradiction, because something else is happening. A small seed, mental seed, in my mind opens up, and there is a tiny little image made of light covering this stick, this cylinder, purple silver cylinder. It is covering the stick like chocolate covers ice cream, and the stick becomes a pen, the pen for me. And the seeds are coming from anything that I have said, thought, from my thinking, from me talking, and from my past actions.
It's actually what you've done with your mind. Your mind has taken some kind of action and then imprinted the seed back into the mind itself.
Yeah, so the seed in my mind comes from my past thoughts, my past words and actions. And then it covers this cylinder, it becomes a pen. What kind of seed? I was sharing maybe a pen with somebody, or information, something like that. And this is how this stick becomes the pen, and anything else in your life becomes what it is. And as Bill told you, you have to hear it for at least 3,000 times to really understand it, even though it sounds really simple. Because this is how you create your reality, including your bank account, your relationships, and everything else. And if you want to really see how it happens, then you need to meditate, because at some point in your meditation, you will be able to see the nature of reality directly.
Yeah.
And this is the progress of spiritual life we actually wanted to talk about.
Yeah, so when they're saying that when they talk about emptiness, they're saying that this is empty of being a pen until your mind labeled it a pen. It has, this is a little more technical, no nature of being a pen until your mind gives it that. And so then What you can do where emptiness comes back into this is that when you can reach a level of proficiency, the technical term is, we can use shamatha. So you reach, and we'll talk about this in the ACI courses, and the different levels.
In details.
Quite a bit of detail. But you reach this ability to focus with a lot of power. And then you can have, in this deep meditation, you can actually directly see the emptiness of this. And when you do that, what you realize—
let's say absolute reality of it.
Yeah, the absolute reality of it, that you realize that it was empty of being what you thought was there. It's empty of being a pen. There's an absence. And then that experience is actually quite extraordinary. It's a whole lot of really profound things happen when you're seeing the nature of reality, the nature of everything you've ever experienced. You're understanding it for the first time in a way that's not possible until you've had this experience in meditation, in a very deep level of meditation. It literally changes. They classify beings into two different categories. There are those who've seen it and those who haven't. And it's the major milestone in anybody's spiritual life. When Christian writers when Christians have this experience, they describe it as union with God. I'm personally convinced that it's the same thing, because that level of ultimate reality, it's perfectly pure. It's unstained. There is no suffering there. And so it's a subject we can talk about a lot more on, but it's really profound. It's no small thing.
And this is the benefit number 7. If you did not get some of Bill's explanations, don't worry about.
Yeah, it's
because it is the whole subject of 18 ACI courses to understand all this stuff about mental seeds and absolute reality. But the fact is that we do not really understand it because we think that this thing is coming from itself, but actually it was never the case. It is not the case, and it will never be the case. It is completely impossible, was always coming from this side, right?
When you reach a high level of meditation, you can see a different reality. It's literally a different reality. And then then there's a whole bunch of things that come after that, and we're going to talk some about. I think
we will not cover 16.
No. Yes,
16 benefits after seeing emptiness directly here.
It's really
realizations.
It's really profound. But one of the things that you can do after that is you can permanently kill your negative thoughts, your negative emotions, your negative, like your anger and your jealousy. You can stop them permanently. Prior to, and this is, the direct perception of emptiness is what we're talking about here in meditation. And prior to that, you can work with it intellectually. You can go a long way to decreasing your mental afflictions, but you can't stop them permanently, like never come back again until you've had the direct perception of emptiness. And you need meditation in order to do that. And then you also realize that all the suffering that you've ever experienced is coming from yourself. You've done it to yourself. Your mental afflictions have created your pain. And then when you get this experience, this cessation, you realize you're going to have to keep working with it. But you realize that eventually you will permanently stop all of your suffering. It's really profound.
And these are three internal, or for your internal life benefits, right? First, it was progress in your spiritual practice. It means that you focus in meditation on the worldview, on how the world works actually, and some appropriate objects. You become really smarter, more intelligent. You reach this laser type focus, and then you uncover this nature of reality, and you are not anymore the same being, right? Because now you know how everything works. What will be possible? I don't know. Maybe you will walk, or you will be able to walk on water, you know, or they say Arya Nagarjuna was an alchemist, right? He was creating gold out of something else.
Yeah, it's I remember when I was in college and I was first introduced to some of these ideas in an academic setting. And I remember thinking, wow, either this is like the coolest fiction novel that I've ever seen. Like this, somebody really created a
science fiction
novel. This is really detailed, or something extraordinary is happening. And you know, we aren't asking you to accept this stuff immediately, but don't reject it either, because there is quite a bit, like when you follow the path, like I will personally tell you that it's for real. You can investigate it yourself, and it's extraordinary. It's
okay. So progress in your spiritual practice, then you will touch the absolute reality, right? In this deep meditation. And then after that, you will be able to stop all your negative emotions forever.
It takes time. It's a longer story, but you can do it.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that you will be bored, because being bored is also a negative emotion. It means that you will be everything you will ever perceive since this moment when you will stop your negative emotions that we call mental afflictions. You will have to become more and more happy, non-stop. 5 more.
5 more.
Very high level practitioners can do it.
Yeah, we'll see how much patience people have for. We know it's getting late where you guys are.
Yeah, and it is something that we had a lot of debates with Bill whether we should talk all of them or half of them or none of them. Okay, let's do it. 5 benefits for spiritual life. The last ones. First, there are other worlds beyond this one, right? I mean, even if you are a normal human being, you have heard about UFOs and aliens, right? But
yeah, the Pentagon, the United States military likes to talk about UFOs recently.
Yeah, and they admitted that some of the stuff that were recorded were for real.
Yeah, UFO, unidentified flying objects like spaceships that they don't know what they are.
Yeah. If you are a great meditator, you will be able to reach out to these other worlds in your meditation. And in ancient books, they say that the beings from these other worlds can teach you, can come and teach you.
There's 2 ways that happens. One is that simply being silent. Like when you stop the noise in your head and you get quiet, you have more of an ability to listen, right? And people call it intuition, but I would say that there's beings beyond us that we can't see, right? And that they're trying.
Don't believe us, just
Don't-
meditate.
Yeah, don't believe. Yeah, exactly. It's also. Let's just leave it at that. They say in the text, they say that other beings can come and talk to you. So we'll just leave it at that. Take it, don't take it. You know, personally, I think it's possible.
Okay. Next, second benefit for spiritual life, you will be able to see far future. I mean, really precisely what will happen and how it will happen, who will be involved, etc. At this level, you will have the possibility to really see it clearly.
You know, earlier on,
Clairvoyance, right?
Yeah, and earlier on, we were talking about being able to see things, you know, a few months, a few years in advance. And here, specifically, what they're saying is that when you've had that direct perception of emptiness, you know, when you've seen the absence here, when you've seen that other ultimate reality, and you come back, you can see all the way to the end of your suffering. It takes 500 years. You can see it. You know where you're going. You know you're going to get out. It's perfectly clear. You have that ability to see beyond the moment. Even the fact that we'll talk about it more, but you can see the end of your suffering.
Let's say the end of your problems, because people did not usually think they have suffering. You know, they think, yeah, okay, I have problems. I don't have really suffering.
Yeah, no, I feel okay.
Yeah, this morning I was in tears because of my back pain, and I was thinking I would not say I'm suffering. I would say I have a problem. I have a back pain. So the next one, the third one, is you will be able to feel absolute love. I mean, undescribable, unconditional love to every single living being, like much more than a mother can love her own child, like to every single human, non-human, animal, insect, whatever. You will feel this intense love. And this intense love will be moving your spiritual experience even up to higher and higher levels.
You can, again, your ability to focus gives you the ability to understand who you are better, like what the inner core of you is. And you can literally open up your heart to the universe. And you're doing that with the tool of a deep meditation. There's things inside of you that are blocked, and you can open those up so that you can experience a deeper, more profound concern for other beings than what you're capable of. And the meditation is a tool that you're using for that.
Mm-hmm. The fourth benefit, boy, it is very difficult to believe into this one.
Yeah,
you were thinking the previous ones is difficult.
If you thought other beings talking to you, teaching you, wait, we got a better one for you.
Yeah, this is, I mean, very inspiring. You will get to the point when, because you realized the nature of reality, and because you are able to focus single-pointedly, you will be able to stop your own death.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, honestly, you will become by this point a different being, right?
Mm.
That does not have to die. You will learn how not to die.
The idea here that Inna is talking about is enlightenment, that you can reach enlightenment. And this, it's
I
enlightenment.
actually didn't want to name it enlightenment.
I'm going to talk about it. We're gonna go ahead and do it, right? Because if you're going to go to the ACI classes, you're going to hear these terms pretty quickly, and so you actually end up you could call it Buddhahood,
Body of light.
or what?
The body of
A
light.
body, well, yeah, a body of light. You're an angel, but you can reach like when. And you don't have to die to reach that stage. There's nothing specific about the death process. And again, it's a longer story. We're not asking you to accept it, but your meditation can trigger a process where this becomes inevitable, where you are definitively, absolutely going to reach this body of light in a period of time. And it gets down to, what does it mean to be a human? And there's a whole longer discussion, but you don't have to die. That's not a required part of this spiritual path. In fact, you can reach Buddhahood in this lifetime.
Did we say it is easy?
No,
Not easy.
right.
Because first you have to meditate.
And it should bring up
study.
a lot of questions, all kinds of things like, well, hey, it's okay. That's what the courses are there for.
Yeah. Okay. And the last one, you would say, okay, after you will not die anymore,
What next?
what else can?
I'm good.
But actually, there is one last
So
thing.
long, taking care of myself. I'm out of here. You guys let me know when you reach it.
Yeah, and this is the last thing. You will be able to protect everybody else, like every single being on this planet, on all other planets. You will be able to become this protector, this kind of angel who not only wants to take care of everybody. I want to take care of everybody. I don't have the capacity right now, right? But not only you will be willing to do it, but you will be able to do it. Absolutely, completely capable. And every single one of you can do it.
It's a great story. Really great. Very, very profound. When you see the text and you read through the depth of knowledge that's there, that's available, it's really, really quite extraordinary. And then you start walking this path and they say, okay, well, you said I can reach this far distant place. And then, well, it's a long ways away, right? But you can start going a little ways down and you say, oh, okay, didn't know that was possible. Maybe if they were right about this first part of the path, they're going to be right about the deeper things. And one of the things that they were right about that I'd never heard of before was this meditation. Can you reach, these 9 levels that we're going to describe in the courses? Can you really reach that? Is it really possible when you go through these? And can you really do these things? You're like, oh, okay, well, yeah. And lots of people are reaching these levels of meditation. It's like once you kind of get into this world, you'll see there's quite a few people that have done it. And like, okay, well, they knew about that. Maybe they knew about the rest of it also.
Okay, that's pretty much it. I mean, don't believe us. Don't. I mean, as I said, we are a work in progress. I mean, definitely I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
But as Bill said, I have seen enough already from this 13 bullet points list that I have this feeling that, okay, if I meditate, if I continue meditating, then this is where where I'm going.
Mhm.
If you are still interested, if you do not think we are crazy, or even if you do think we are crazy, but you want to learn more, then you can follow these links and get registered for ACI classes. They are for free. Probably tens of thousands of people studied already these courses. You will not be the first victim. There were people before you already. So, and the people meditate, they get happier in their life. They get success. They get better relationship. And they gradually go into, next levels, next level problems, right? When you are done with these problems, then you think maybe I can do something better with my life. And this is what we can teach you, how to do something better with your life.
And we love doubters. We love debate. We love people who have a problem with this. You can rip it apart or try to rip it apart. And then we can discuss it because you get to make up your own mind.
Yeah.
And I think you'll find that there's some pretty extraordinary thought behind all of this.
Oh, we have an honor. We have our dear friend Uta Sharp, who is herself is a great meditator present. Hi, Uta. So great to see you here. That was it for today. Please come to our ACI training, and we will teach you how to meditate and how to make progress.
And come find us on social media. There's a lot of other stuff that we're doing, and you can find us there. So
yeah, and all the if you will get lost, all the advertisement about ACI courses we publish on our Instagram pages, just to be sure that people will have a place to go. Okay, thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can write in the WhatsApp group that is dedicated to 13 benefits of meditation, or in you can write it here, and then we will answer it. Thank you.
большое спасибо.